Trey Cunningham, world championship silver medalist,
Yeah.
NCAA champion. I like calling you a world championship medalist. It's just fun. But we had a wonderful interview. This is Larry Eater with RunBlogRun, but we've got Trey sitting across the table, and he has his drug of choice and drinking a little bit of caffeine. Gotta have it. We're at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. Global Athletics puts an event on, and we're going to talk a little bit about media. And so, Trey, you are the CEO of World Athletics. I know you'd be perfect because you love the clothes, nice suits. You get to travel. What would be the best thing about being the president of World Athletics? Do you think the travel would be pretty cool?
I think so. I mean, I've always said it's kind of like it goes hand in hand with what the agents do. They get to do everything the track athletes do, except compete.
Yes.
So it's super nice and low stress.
Yes. Just except, well, watching Wetmore as he's worrying about you guys in semifinals and finals is fascinating.
Yeah, he won't even come in the stadium.
No. It's just, and I've watched other agents like it too. It's just, it's fascinating to me. The what I call the gene pool, different people doing different things.
Yeah.
But Trey, we had some fun in February talking about where you see the sport going and your serious concerns. Okay. And we were just talking about how Formula One has this Netflix show. Tell us a little bit about what you've learned and how you think this could help track and field.
So I like data. It can't lie all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, the raw stuff, it doesn't lie. So, I mean, you can do a simple Google search. They've done case studies about the introduction of the show on Netflix. And since, I think, 2018, when it came about, the viewership has gone up 50%, wow, which is a large number when you already have about 450,000 people watching. Mm-hmm. So I think that took Formula One to the next level after COVID hit and made me a fan. Like, I wasn't going to watch someone drive a car around a track for lap after lap after lap. I would rather run for 13 seconds and go sit down. I think that's much more exciting.
Yes.
But now I follow the sport just simply because I watched this Netflix show and it built these stories and these characters around these 20 drivers who seemingly are kind of like us. They're not a person, they're just the bib that's running down the track.
What do you think has been the biggest challenge for you going from a collegiate athlete to an elite athlete? Or has there been real challenges?
I mean, my last year I was basically a pro. We opened up late relatively to the college season. We didn't run as many races as most people thought. Like people thought I'd been racing every weekend from January till September, and it wasn't the case. I was running basically every 2 weeks, around here and there. I wasn't running all the rounds. But I would say it's just an adjustment of going back to being super independent. I think the NBA players made a good point that you can make the jump to the pro leagues better from high school than you can college, because college is more of like a team atmosphere.
Sure.
And in high school track, it's kind of like professional track. You show up, you have your people or not, and they give you your bib and they're like, all right, go run a world leading time with either a grass field warm-up or the best warm-up track in the world. They don't care.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to throw some questions because my brain's going in a lot of places, but what was the biggest mistake you made as a high school athlete?
Biggest mistake I made?
Yeah, as a young athlete, was there something that if you had to do it all over again and you were doing the hurdles, what would you tell a group of young high school kids? Hey, watch out for this. Or would you train harder? Would you train lighter? Would you listen to your coach better? Or there's any kind of observations?
I guess in my instance, I raced a lot. Like, I think I had over 200 races when I was done with high school.
Wow.
Well, I was doing 4 events.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
It was my job to score 40 points at the state meet.
Give me the events.
So it depends on the year.
Okay.
We went from doing both hurdles, so 110 to 300, and then I did long and triple jump like my freshman and sophomore year. And then I wised up and started doing like the 100, 200, got rid of the 300 hurdles and still did long jump. Indoors, I had to run the 400 because in Alabama they don't have the 200 on a 200-meter track. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I ran that. And then the open 60. So I did a bunch of that, and then I got to do a few events like high jump, or I threw the javelin one time. You can look my stuff up. I threw the javelin not very far.
We get to see you do a decathlon?
No.
Okay.
I was actually recruited by a few schools in college to do the decathlon. I was like, guys, do you see these arms? Like, I can't throw. And I have yet to pole vault, and I'm not going to pole vault.
Now, your coach presently was your college coach, is that correct?
Correct.
And what's his name?
Matthew Kane.
And why do you and Matthew click?
I don't know. We kind of had like the normal like relationship stuff. Like you've got to fill it out, see if you mesh well. But I would say after like 2 or 3 months of him being there, we figured out that he kind of wants it as much as I do. Like, I mean, the goal is to eventually be the best hurdler ever, and we're both on that same page. And I mean, it helps that he's smart. Like, I like people who are intelligent and can like speak to me. Like, it doesn't have to be dumbed down. Like,
Yeah, good. No,
instead of it being, it's X number of feet, it's like, no, it's this many meters to the first hurdle. You need to take off here. I mean, he's just a good dude.
Yeah,
Like, he genuinely cares about his athletes.
that's important. The coach-athlete relationship, I think, is amazing, and it's really key, and I love to kind of explore that. So as a college athlete, did you do multiple events? Did you do the long jump anymore? Did you do the relays, or how did you do it in college?
So the offer Florida State gave me was I could come there and just be a hurdler.
Wow.
Every other school was like, you might run the 100, 4x1, 4x4, all the stuff. So I get to Florida State, I'm just running hurdles, occasional 4x4 here and there. I ran a 4x1 once. I did run the 100, tore my hamstring. So they didn't let me run anything else after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the deal when I got to Florida State.
Did you ever do the 400 hurdles?
I did once in high school.
Okay.
The NSAF, the organization that puts on the high school national meet. So they take a group of juniors down to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I got to go to Cuba, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was very interesting, eye-opening experience. Glad I got to go. And the year before me, they had a guy that is pretty good, went to Texas Tech. Y'all might know him, Norman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, never ran a 4 hurdle race in his life until he went down there. Wow. And so they're like, Trey's like him, we'll put him in the 4 hurdles. No, they said when I came around to the last 100, my face.
Not good. Not good.
Just, I wasn't in pain, I wasn't tired, I wasn't sad, it's just, I'm done.
You're done. Yeah, you told me before your parents are very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
I think I met your mom and dad at the World Champ Trials. I was just standing, and your pop very quiet, and I kind of chatted with your mom, and then he introduced himself, and I told him how much I liked your running and the way you comported yourself, and which always seems something that parents are fascinated about. Well, what do you think? How does he do? It's a great interview. I mean, because you've been very relaxed, and you always have things to say, so you make my job a lot easier. I want to go back to 2 things that we were chatting about. You're concerned about TV viewing for track and field. How is the quality of the TV? Do you go back and watch a track meet that you were in? Do you watch the U.S. stuff? Do you watch I have opinions on each one. Like, I look at the U.S. broadcast, I think Addo and the team have gotten much better, but it's still a very partisan U.S. thing. I think the Peacock, the global thing, it's we are the world, we are the children, so that's good. I think European Athletics does the best job, but that's just my opinion. Do you have an opinion on the quality of the TV? Is that part of the problem?
I mean, since I've gotten into the pro circuit, I haven't really watched track and field on TV because I'm usually performing when it's on TV. Mm-hmm. When I go look back at stuff, it's usually on YouTube and the clips that they've made of each race.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will say, like, the commentary, I think, can make or break it. Like, depending on if the commentator has like a negative stance on just the field in general, or have they actually done their homework?
Yeah.
Like, I can remember in college, like some of them didn't do their homework.
Yes.
And they even would be like, hey, can we meet up in the lobby like the day before the meet? I'm like, can you not just do an internet search? Like, this is not hard.
I look at the 110 hurdles and the 60 hurdles, and I see you, Grant, Daniel Roberts, who's I get a kick out of. I've got him to laugh because I ask him what the hell he's wearing the tight stuff for, you know. And he's done it in 90-degree stuff, and I said, Grant, he won't answer. What's the deal? He goes, Larry, he had a hamstring thing. He's got a kind of a good luck deal going. I said, oh, is that part of it? What?
I think he hurt his knee in high school.
That's what it was.
And he's been doing that ever since.
Okay.
I mean,
well, it's part of the whole psychological.
Yeah, I mean, if that helps him get in the zone, so be it.
If we were telling, so I'm going to be the NBC producer.
Okay.
And I'm going to be watching the 110 hurdles, and I want to build you guys up. So I'm going to tell a story about you. I'm going to tell a story about Grant. I'm going to tell a story about Daniel. Do you think it's good to like make it seem like you guys are really competitive with each other? Because on the track you are. Because you explained that to me, that you can play computer games with Grant from 2,000 miles away. But when you go to the track, it's business because you guys both want the same thing.
Yeah.
Is that a correct way to explain it?
I think so. I mean, you can go back to something very simple. People want relationships.
Yeah.
And our lives are built around relationships. At the end of the day, all that matters is who you impacted, who loves you, stuff like that. So I think that would be a key. Like, how do we build this relationship between these people, whether they actually talk to each other or not? So it could be a play like they're rivals, or they're actually best buddies, or something like that.
If we were doing Netflix and I did a series showing you guys training for 12 weeks, doing someone following you, someone following Daniel, someone following Grant, do you think that's the kind of thing we need to do? Is it telling the stories, giving people a deeper involvement so they can identify with the athletes?
Yeah, I mean, any point you show vulnerability, so like you're actually being who you are, even when the camera's on you, people notice that. Like, people are very in tune to like sniff out a lie, like you're doing something that is not normal. So I think the more we have that, or it doesn't even have to be us at practice, you can follow us at the Diamond League meets. Like, that's when all the good stuff comes out. Like, it's raw, unfiltered, like every emotion comes out on the track.
It's my favorite interviews too. I would literally go to all the meets just to do the, interviews with you guys is great.
Because, you can go physiologically, psychologically, like you're at a heightened state where that's all you can be is yourself. So I think just simply following that would be great content.
If you weren't doing the hurdles, what field event would you do?
My field event?
Yeah.
Long jump. So
what do you
easy.
like about the long jump?
So
It's so easy. Okay.
Run and jump, man.
Okay.
Run and jump.
Can you explain in English to my viewers the issues about the new shoes? Like Miltiades Tendoglu went 841 a week or two ago, right?
Yeah.
And he was in a new shoe, and I'm looking at it, and it's got a little bigger heel and a little bit more under the midsole. And for some reason, I guess it was too many millimeters. They banned that one. And he went, I don't know if you saw it on Instagram, it's a classic.
You went nuts.
It went nuts, and he got annoyed, and he used a couple of good words, which for him I'm pretty impressed with, because he's normally kind of very and then in the hurdles race at the World Champs, my observation was with our the new world record holder from Nigeria, that she was actually running in Adidas long jump shoes. And I asked Spencer
800 meter spikes.
Say it again?
800 meter.
800 meter.
Yeah.
What's the benefit of an 800 meter spike in the hurdles, may I ask? Or do
There's
you
no
understand?
benefit.
Is it just it was comfort for her?
It's like Daniel's leg sleeve. It's whatever you're comfortable in.
Okay, all right. Do you think it's too much? Like, I have a collection of track and field stuff, right?
Okay.
My oldest track shoes are from 1915.
Okay.
Now, if I put you in those right now, or if I put you in the shoes that Harrison Dillard wore in 1936 in the hurdles, you would look at me and go, I wouldn't play golf in these, man. I wouldn't go walleye fishing, right? Okay, so the shoes, the quality of the shoes have gotten better. I have arguments with my British media friends because they say it's the only reason why people are running fast is because of shoes, and I say it's kind of crap. But what I compare it to is Bob Richards, who was the 1952 and 56 Olympic gold medalist in the pole vault. He went 15-6 on the bamboo pole. When the fiberglass poles came out, he couldn't do anything with them. But all of a sudden, John Pennell and all these guys are going 17 feet.
Yeah.
Totally, it changed the paradigm. New tracks, right? You know, Roger Bannister ran a 4-minute mile on a track that was graded. The track in Turku, Finland was one of the first ones in the early 1960s and was artificial surface. So all those things changed the sport. Are we overdoing the technology? Is there an observer as an elite athlete? Do you think that I'm smoking crack when I write about, hey, these shoes really are doing something?
You're not smoking crack because they do help.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's kind of a nuanced argument about how pure do we keep the sport, you know, like it's kind of like people who are in opposition of changing any formatting in track and field.
Yeah.
Or any sort of display of it. So, I mean, technology is going to move forward whether we want it to or not. The people who make the shoes are going to make better shoes. That's their job, and they're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
The people who make the new track surfaces, they're pretty good at it. That's their job.
Yeah.
And I think it's really silly to say that we can't utilize these things, because I mean, it's like the craze with getting a new iPhone every year.
Yeah.
You gotta have it.
Yeah.
You gotta have it, whether it's exponentially better or not. But you can't attribute all the success to just the shoes or the technology. Like, the athletes actually have to work as well.
Yeah.
I think we have better, like, physiological stuff. Like, the weight rooms are getting better.
Yeah.
I think training is getting better. Like, I think it's cohesively coming together as a better program for the athletes. And I think it's showing up in large ways, because me and Coach talk about this all the time. What happened in the last 5 years? Because when I got to college, you can win nationals at 13.4.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
If you run 13.4, you're lucky to be top 5. And I'm like, how did it exponentially get so much better in the last 5 years? And I think it's the 10 before, this technology is catching up and people are starting to use it. So I think it's just improving on what the body can do.
I have an interview from 1995 with Alan Johnson,
Okay.
Roger Kingdom, and Tony Jarrett.
Yeah.
And Tony had never met me before, and I got these guys to talk, and they were so much fun. But Roger at the time would hit 7 out of 10 hurdles, and he could win. You know, now he had to get a cadaver, thing in his knee. And Alan was a little much more finesse. Tony was a pretty good sized guy too, but it was a different era. It was like they were gladiators, and it was like boom, 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 And in observing the 110 hurdles, I believe that you guys are the most misunderstood event in track and field. And hear me out, and I want to see what you think about this. And why I say that is that you guys can't hide. In other events, they'll do 1,000 meters. Instead of putting both guys in the mile, they'll do 1,000 meters in a 2 mile. And it infuriates me as a guy who wants to see competition. That's why the championships are so big for me, right? Do you think the 110 hurdles gets the respect it deserves? And then I've got a follow-up question for you.
No, because everyone wants to see how fast someone can run and how far they can run.
Okay.
And then the mile is just a phenomenon that everyone's obsessed with. I think it's great that people race against each other. I think that's what the sport needs, like forcing people to race instead of like you said, I'm going to go run the 1,000 instead of the 15. I've always said that the hurdlers always show up.
Yes.
They don't really duck each other either.
Yep.
I think it's getting more respect because people are seeing that's actually a pretty good race every time we show up, and that it's also one of the most dramatic races. Like, you hit a hurdle the wrong way, someone goes down. Someone goes down, changes the whole dynamic of the race. Someone else can like hit somebody. Like, I got filleted open in Zurich.
Wow. Wow.
And I mean, if they had the camera on me instead of the winner, they'd see blood just running down my arm.
Oh my God.
I was like trying to find someone like, help please.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're speaking English or German, so I'm like,
Yeah. Or Swiss German on top of that.
right.
All right, so here's the clip that I'm going to pull from right now, and I'm prepping you for it. You gave me an explanation of what the hurdles is all about, and so you're going to do this thing, and I'm going to pull it out and use it this year.
Okay.
So the question is going to be, Trey Cunningham, you are explaining the 110 hurdles to 300 million people in the U.S., maybe 50 million who know what track and field is. What is the 110 hurdles? How do you explain it, and why is it so exciting? Give me a thoughtful response. I can tell the brain is circulating, the caffeine is.
I thought I gave you a response last time.
You gave me a good one. I want to get it on this one. And you explained the hurdles. I mean, Ronaldo Nehemiah explained to me that it's sprinting and braking. And you know that the combination of sprinting and hurdling is a learned activity, and he believes that only certain people can do it really, really well. But then he also told me he wasn't sure Aries Merritt would get the world record at the time, and Ronaldo had been really good on everything else. So you know,
He's also pretty arrogant.
You know, that was that whole era. Him and Greg Foster. I mean, if you watched any of those videos, you would think that.
How would I describe hurdling?
Or what's something that people don't know about hurdling? What do you think it's something that the average
Oh my gosh.
catcher do?
People think hurdling is all about the hurdle part.
Okay.
Like, they think it's all finesse.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's still who gets from A to B as fast as possible, whether you hit all 10 hurdles or not.
So if you are a 9.8 kid in the 100 and you've got a 9.9 kid in the 100, the 9.9 kid could beat the 9.8 kid you think would beat the 9.9 most
So
of the
this
time?
is where you have to learn how to hurdle.
Okay, all right. So,
But people think it's all like technique. I'm like, no, you still have to be fast. Like, I think a few of us in the hurdles that are especially like sprint heavy, like I only hurdle like every 10 days.
okay.
We could get close to 10 seconds or something.
Wow. Okay.
Like
okay.
Omar's already done it.
Yeah.
And he's sprint heavy.
Yeah.
So I don't think people understand that. Like, you still have to be fast, and it's fast in a way that it's like downhill and you can't stop. I don't think there's any braking. Like, if you brake, you're slowing down and you're killing the race. So you have to be able to navigate the hurdles in a way that you can continue to carry your speed down the hill.
What do you love about track and field?
What do I love about track and field?
Yeah, I like to finish up with a question like that with you. So you always come up with something interesting.
What do I love about track and field? It's athleticism at its core.
What's the best piece of advice your coach has ever given you before a race?
Before a race?
Before a race or after a race? What's the best piece of advice a coach has given you?
You have to be comfortable with yourself on the line.
Okay. Has Mr. Wetmore provided you any advice before races, after races, or that you would put on video?
He's just always supportive. Like, he knows his job is get me in the race and stuff outside the race. My coach's job is everything else.
Yeah. Trey Cunningham, thank you so much. This is Larry Eater with RunBlogRun. We've got Trey Cunningham in Caesar's Palace. It is early March 2023. We'll be seeing you at many races this spring.
Yep.
We're looking forward to seeing you in Budapest at the U.S. Championships. And Trey, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.